This sort of nondescript building in Mesa, Arizona is an ICE prison. You wouldn't know it from looking at it. It's right next to the Phoenix Mesa Airport. But according to reporting from the Arizona Mirror, there's some real trouble at that facility. It's been dangerously over capacity. This place is officially rated to not hold more than 157 people at any one time. But the Mirror reports that on average, in the last year, there weren't 157 people there, the official capacity. On average, there were 274 people there per day. This is well beyond what it was built for and what it can safely hold. The Arizona Mirror also reports, though, that when two members of Congress scheduled an inspection at that prison in February, quote, the population of detainees began to decrease to some of the lowest numbers the facility had seen all year. And then, quote, almost immediately after the inspection, those numbers began to climb again. So that's reporting in the Arizona Mirror that broke on Thursday this past week. They've been all over this story, this low-key facility that you wouldn't even know was there unless you knew it was there. And what they found was that this facility has been really dangerously overcrowded. But when a couple of members of Congress said they were coming, they brought the population way down. So when the members of Congress were there, it would look all well run and look all official. And then as soon as the members of Congress left, the population numbers went way up, and it got way more crowded again. The Arizona Mirror, again, broke that story last Thursday morning. Here's the amazing thing that then happened. I said that was two members of Congress who planned that trip in February. Well, hours after the Arizona Mirror broke that news, hey, you members of Congress, they brought down the numbers artificially in order to show you a fake portrait, essentially, of what that facility is like. After you left, the numbers went way back up. As soon as that reporting broke in the Arizona Mirror on Thursday morning, those two members of Congress, Greg Stanton and Yasmin Ansari, they went back to that ICE prison in Mesa, that same facility, that same day, and they brought along a third Democratic member of Congress with them as well, Arizona's newest Congresswoman, Adelita Grijalva. This time, it was not an announced visit. This time, they did not tell them that they were coming. This time, knowing what had happened the last time they had advance notice, this time they just showed up and they got inside. And here's what those lawmakers reported. Quote, prisoners packed into cells, quote, like sardines. Facility almost 100 people over capacity. People lying on the floor without blankets. Prisoners scrambling to the doors of the holding cells, seeing that these were some people who seemed official who were there. They were asking for help, trying to tell them about the conditions at the facility. This is the combination tactically of aggressive, investigative local reporting and members of Congress who are willing to act on it and follow up.
People are being treated like there's no way that we could treat animals like this. People would be outraged, but apparently it's fine to treat people this way. It's disgusting.
That was Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, moments after touring the ICE immigrant prison in Mesa, Arizona. This prison has reportedly been dangerously overcrowded. That is a fact that the prison seems to have tried to hide from Congress when the Arizona Mirror reported that the number of people at that facility had been artificially brought down to a safe number before members of Congress had made a planned visit in February. Adelita Grijalva and two other Democratic members of Congress responded by going back to the facility that night for a non-announced visit. She says prisoners there they found were crowded in cells like sardines. She says, quote, it was frightening in there. She said, quote, it is disgusting. Joining us now is Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, Democrat of Arizona. Congresswoman Grijalva, it's an honor to have you with us tonight. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me about your decision to make this unannounced visit. I know a little bit about the Arizona Mirror's reporting and about the previous announced visit by a couple of your colleagues, but tell me how you ended up there this past week.
Well, I think so much of the initial rumor was that there was a hunger strike. And so we wanted to go and see what the facility looked like. And when we went to the door, it's like a vacant office building. There was no indication of what was there. We actually saw activity around the corner where there were several detainees in like two different charter buses. So we went over there, grabbed their attention there, and then encouraged somebody to come out. And they said, well, did you set an appointment? said, we don't have to do an appointment anymore. We can come in. And then ironically, the paperwork that they have us sign pledging that we will not take any recording devices, we will not speak to detainees, all of the other rules that they have literally reference and the March 2025 decision that allows members of Congress to go in without announcement. So I think that is what we're going to have to do more and more often. This was at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And there were also 2 charter buses that had about 80 people each in those buses. So I kept asking, were these people in this facility and where would they fit? Because literally people are packed in so tight that if they said, everyone take a seat, they physically would not be able to without sitting on top of each other.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty
We're
horrible.
noticing. Yeah, sorry. I was just going to say we're noticing that a lot of members of Congress seem to be starting to do what you and your colleagues did in Arizona. We've seen just in the past few days, members of Congress do this in Florida and Indiana, in Massachusetts and other places, Michigan, Minnesota. Is this a coordinated effort by Democrats in the House, or does it just so happen that everybody's sort of realizing whenever you guys are out of Washington, this is something that you can do in your home states and your home districts?
That's exactly what's happening, at least for me, because I visited 2 different facilities and had to wait the 7 days. They asked, who I was going to speak to because I need to have paperwork filled out because I have to prove that they're a constituent of mine. In this specific case, we'd walk by and I'm the only one who could speak Spanish of my colleagues. And so most of the people there spoke Spanish from different countries. One woman indicated that she had already had all of her disposition done. 44 days ago, she was at an airport getting ready to be deported without argument. And for whatever reason, she said, I don't know why I'm still here. They picked me up. They keep moving me around. Like, when can I get home? And to me, that speaks more to what's going on in our private prisons and the fact that every person that's there, someone's getting paid. And the vast majority of people that are detained right now, of the over 70,000 people, are detained in private prisons. So we have to follow the money and also look at how inhumane people are being treated. It's disgusting. And when I was walking by the women's facility, she asked me for sanitary napkins because there were 2 young ladies in there that needed sanitary napkins and didn't have them. They literally have a toilet in the middle of a space. So if you look at the top of the door, it says max occupancy, 21 people. Clearly double, almost triple the number there. And if you have to use the facility, where are you supposed to go? In front of everyone. There are no showers. So these are facilities that are supposed to be designed to have less than 12 hours. And there are people there that had been there at least 3 days with no end in sight.
Wow. Arizona Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, thank you for doing this oversight visit. Thank you for doing it the way you did with your colleagues so that you could get more of the real truth about what's happening there. And thank you for talking to us. We'd love to have you back. I know that you're on this and will continue to be. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.